Hey, everybody, this is Robert from GHTR Nations Podcast Radio. And tonight we're going to have a little bit of special show. We're going to be bringing you a little bit of music. We're going back to our roots, late night with Rob and Kris. And so tonight we got a couple of guests on with us, a guest, and Kris is here with us as well.
Hey
How you doing,
everyone.
Kris? So
I'm
what's
doing
been
great.
going
How are
on?
you doing, Robert?
What's
I'm
been
doing
going
great. How
on?
are you doing? Doing great.
Yep.
I was sorry about laughing. I was just sitting here thinking I heard a program that you sent me a little earlier today about where you had a special guest the other day.
Yeah. Which one was that?
The guy that I don't get along too well with him because he broke in my house once before.
Oh,
Tex.
oh, text. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's still out there at large. So,
I have something he left here whenever he got escorted out here by the police. I don't know if he told you about that, but he left a jar of what he called spook fart. Oh
yep,
my God.
that's
I
his
didn't know what
calling
it,
card.
I didn't know what it was. And I took the lid and I screwed it off like what it thought it was gonna die.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. You know him. He's catastrophe walking. So master of disaster and all that other stuff. So that's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. I mean, we'd I talked to him the other night. Of course, we did a show with him. So he was pretty excited about being on the air with us. So I don't know about that, but
Well, I remember back when you went to Texas and yeah,
yeah, that
that
was
was
a
that
nightmare.
was crazy because I remember he was making a what did he make you? He made you a armadillo or a cat or something.
It was an armadillo can opener, bottle
Yeah,
opener. I mean, yeah,
that's right. I
yeah.
mean,
I couldn't bring that on.
what makes you think of making something like that? I remember he was shaking his wiener at some guy on his trailer park.
Well, that's the way that they mark their manhood. They show each other as their pecker.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That
Yeah,
does make sense.
and maybe he had a bone going through his or something like that. Who knows?
Zane, so how are you doing?
Doing all right, doing all right. Enjoying the beautiful weather we have in Norfolk, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I bet you have some really nice weather being right there on the ocean.
Oh yeah. Getting a lot darker skin finally. Two
Yeah, it
different
looks like
tones now.
you look like you got a farmer's tan going on there.
Just a little. It's from driving like this all the time. Arm out the window.
Zane, do you know who we're talking about, Tex?
I think you had mentioned him before when I used to live back in Charleston.
And then you listened to that one about spook fart or something like that.
Yeah,
What's your
I, I,
thought?
you know, craziness is just a strange thing. It affects certain people different ways.
Well, I'm sure we could have him make you something. He's actually Robert was talking about getting him on the radio show, doing a show with him, which if you look at Tom Arnold and if you look at what's his name, Johnny Knoxville, they took Jesco White, which is just over the mountain from me. Jesco White is a dancing outlaw, and not to mention anything, he's actually my ex-wife's cousin, Carrie. It's Carrie's cousin. Uh, I don't know where to go with that, but the guy is if you don't know who Jesco White is, guys, go up on YouTube and look up Jesco White sloppy eggs. You'll know who he is. He's got a lot of videos. But Tom Arnold and the guy from Jackass, they put him on there on the show or whatever, and kind of made him like a kind of like a local celebrity or whatever. Kind of reminds me of Tex, just a southern drawn version of the West Virginia Jesco. So what's been going on with you, Robert?
Not a whole lot, not a whole lot. I just been working every day, trying to get by, trying to figure out how we're gonna get this whole thing up and running, this monster. We're starting to get in the right direction, but I just feel like uh, a lot of work that goes into these and to get us back to where we were once. And
We were on 90 FM stations and Sirius Satellite and getting on iHeart and played all over the place. Yeah,
then somebody had a psychological meltdown or whatever it
well,
might be.
Well, and not only that, you were on another planet, if you call it that, with your coma.
No, that was well. Oh, what was that? That was well after.
Well, but that was when we were going into TV. We are going from radio to
Oh,
TV.
that's right. Yeah. Well,
Then
that
you
was during the
you
pandemic.
vanished.
That
You
was during.
vanished.
Yeah, that was during the pandemic, though. I mean, I don't have any control over that, but yeah, we just
People,
talked about that this week, didn't we? About the
people,
pandemic.
people that don't know, they need to understand that Robert and I have been doing radio for well over a decade, and that was back when I was in Bridgemont before, and then West Virginia University. I
Right.
was doing college radio at West Virginia University, and then I was doing late night with Rob and Chris, Monster Theater, Morning Meltdown, World is Our Country, and what else were we doing? Night at the Round Table.
Yep. 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 That was quite the trip. Those days we were busy, at least 4 days a week, I'd say. Well, 3 days a week, because we were doing the late night with Rob and Chris. Then we get up in the morning. See, we had to be on the air at 5 in the morning
Early. Yeah.
and go till 10 o'clock, and then we did that, and then let's see, Monster Theater was on Sunday afternoons, and of course we know it's the Morning Meltdown, and then we had Ryan Casey doing his show, and then we had Phil Summers doing his show, and then who else did we have?
Well, when I left, you had Christy doing late night with Rob and Christy.
No, it was
Wasn't
late. It was, yeah, it was this. Then it was this late night. It wasn't. I didn't really want to put Christy. I did it for a little while, but then I pulled her name out of it because it was this late night, and it didn't have the essence that it used to have. But she did a real good job. I mean,
Well, if
she
you look at our journey, though, I mean, my God, you being the war hero, the guy that combat ready, I never in my life would have ever thought I'd see you melt down on radio. But when Patches died, which was your
yeah,
200-pound house cat.
I don't know if he was 200 pounds, but he was
Well, I'm joking about that. It was a big cat. When
28
it,
pounds. 28 pounds.
That's what happens when they get spoiled.
yeah, this cat was like, it hated me all the time. It was like always texting me and leaving me, I always thought maybe it was Robert doing the texting for the cat, but
It wasn't me. It was him. And the thing about it is yeah, that was a rough time for me, especially because he had pulled me out of the deep depths of hell and kind of brought me back to, just kind of like what Coda and Winston do right now. They're doing their thing and all this other stuff. So I just feel like there's times when your mind gets clicking along and you just start overthinking. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend today about that, and she was telling me that overthinking can kill you, and I said, yeah, it could, but the anxiety and all that other stuff that went around, what went with it. So she was telling me, she goes, well, you just don't think about it. Really, I mean, how do you stop? And she had a good plan. She says, well, you need to do something with your time. You need to cover up, so you stop thinking it, watch a good movie, do this, do all these other things, just keep yourself busy. I go, I already do that. But the second I come to a stop, then my mind goes, boom, it picks up where it left off before.
but overthinkers are some of the most intelligent people on earth. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being an overthinker. It's just on your time you need to control your mind, not to overthink. And how I do that is with music. And I know you're just like me with music. I mean, we can get set back and listen to some music like the Lexington Lab Band and many others, and just get so blown away and carried away in the music. Because with Late Night with Rob and Chris, through all the years that we've done that, that was a journey in its own self. We remember the Applebee's coupons. We give $25 gift certificates out.
We
People that
gave
can
out a
name it.
shitload of those.
We did a lot of them, and you would always play stuff to trick me, and I'd have to guess the name of the song. And what people don't really realize, you have all these hit songs from all these major bands, but they have an album full of songs that don't get played. And that's what,
B side, the B side. No one ever listened to the B side.
yeah. And you would play those. And that's what, now when you would play something from bands like Led Zeppelin, it's really hard to tell what the name of that song would be because, it may be called My Bologna Sandwich and it has nothing to do with bologna sandwiches.
I
There's,
gave you a few. I gave you a few easy ones to trip on that you would figure out because at the rate we were going, we gave away total time that we were on the air. We gave away 250 free meals at a
$25 a piece. Yes.
Yep.
That's a lot of money worth of, and we gave other things away too.
Oh yeah.
And then I remember several times like we're sitting here and all of a sudden you see a Paul reach under that door right there behind you.
A big Paul.
Yeah. That would be your monsters in the other room back here.
Yeah.
How do you keep them so calm while you're on the radio?
Right now I just gave him a bunch of Advil.
Damn.
Not Advil. What do they call that stuff?
Marijuana. Catnip.
Yeah. No, catnip. They don't. That's not. It's stuff that makes you
Does
go to
catnip work
sleep.
on dogs?
No.
Have you tried it?
Yep. I wanted to calm my boys down one time, and I just dumped a bunch of it on the floor, and they just went by it, smelt it, and then walked away.
What'd your cat do?
Oh, she immersed herself in it. It was all over her. She was laying there like a passed out cat, laying on her back. She was like, her eyes are all dilated, and I go, see, that's how you're supposed to be, But the only Sudafed, that's what I gave the dogs, Sudafed to calm them down.
You could do that with a dog?
Yeah, just small amounts. You don't give them like OD. Or, I could run next door and get the ladies edibles and feed them a couple of those. That'll calm them down.
I always gave my dogs a bottle of tequila and a dirty magazine.
And see, our dog here today got half a chocolate ding dong, so he's been enjoying that
Your
a
dog
lot.
getting a ding dong.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. But no, they're doing good. Pups are doing real good. Today they, damned if they do, damned if they don't. Here's my day consisted of. My day consisted of getting up in the morning, and I was a little running late. My dad woke me up. First time I ever slept in past 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's like that. Kind of like when Marty was at the dock still, and all of a sudden my dad calls me up. I'm laying in bed and I go, Dad, what's up? And he goes, what time are you coming? All of a sudden I look at my watch. I go, holy shit, I'm late. I'll be there in about, because I had to go help my dad. My dad, we got rid of his old stove and we picked up a new stove. So I had some people standing by to help me get it into my dad's house. So I was running late on that. Finally, we got that done and everything. So I went back home. And I told the boys when I came in, I said, listen, I gotta eat some lunch, and I'll eat my lunch and then we'll go for a ride. And boy, they heard go for a ride and they're just jumping around. Coda's saying like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And I'm like, don't yell at me, quit sparking and stuff like that. So then I got done doing that and I walked into the bathroom and they're both walking right behind me. Just sitting there, they're not letting me out of their sight. They just have to go for a ride. So I said to him, I go, well, all right, give me some time. I got to go in my office and take care of some things real quick. Well, an hour later, I emerged from the office and guess where they were standing?
Yeah, right there waiting, really.
Right by the door.
And your dogs actually, I've heard them. They talk like humans.
They have a future choice word. Coda can say it. Coda.
I've heard say the FU word.
Oh yeah. You did hear that.
Yes, exactly.
He did say that. Winston doesn't say shit. He's the silent one, but you know what they say about silent ones?
They're the thinkers.
Yeah.
Winston's the one that's always messing up the house when you come in every day.
No, my bad. That's always my bad. Always. I clean sheets. That's what I did this morning too. I put clean sheets on the bed and I got a bed all made nice and neat. And then of course, when I went out, I come back and everything's laying on the floor. And I'm like, dumbass dog. Jesus, man. You
So
know,
what special powers does your dog have, Zane?
He can stare at you until you give him food.
I
They're
might do that too.
they're all
Uh,
good at that. They make you feel guilty.
he'll even climb up to the table and actually put his paws up on the table and steal the food off the table.
Oh no, that wouldn't happen with me.
What kind of dog is it?
A little pug.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, the one like on Men in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dogs that look like they got going 100 miles an hour and ran into a wall.
Yeah. And they make the most unusual noises. Does he snore?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And he'll do this little whimper whenever you come home, and then he'll just start doing little circles and as soon as you walk in the door.
I've always wanted to get if I got me another dog. After my last dog passed away, I just couldn't get my mind to get another dog because they don't have a long enough lifespan, like a parrot, 75 years. Uh, I wish, dogs had a longer lifespan, but
Me too.
it is what it is. And after the last one, I don't know if I can handle the hurt right now because I've had some pretty difficult last years, and I try to keep my mind forward, like you, overthinker.
Yeah.
There's not a minute of my day I don't overthink everything.
Well, that's because if you're, for me, it's kind of like I always call it my curse, because a lot of people say that, they say, well, an overthinker can cause, it can be really deadly. And what I mean by deadly is sometimes like in the place where you work, it can be like, uh, people, because you're always thinking you're always watching people, you're watching people's body language, you're listening to them. See, I can read lips. And so I hear people talk and I can look through a glass and I know what this person's saying. And it's to the point where sometimes you just hear what they're saying, and then sometimes you happen to catch that they're talking about you, and that makes you stare even more because you're just like, well, what the hell is she in there saying now? You know, but in cases like you said earlier, overthinkers always thinking ahead, and their reaction time is a lot better because, like, like someone asked me, like, if that mall shooting we had not too long ago, and people were there, some people had a gun, one guy had a gun, he ended up shooting the dude. My reaction would have been totally different. I wouldn't have looked for an exit. I would have probably, if I didn't have no gun, I probably would have been able to get out of there. But at the same token, I would have looked for a way that I could get around this person and come up from behind and bust his freaking neck. Um, and
It's
so,
amazing how an overthinker thinks we go from dogs to malls.
well, well, that's true. But I'm just saying, that's what the curse is. It's you're constantly thinking, like watching a movie. I can tell you the plot of the movie before it's even end because
You
you
don't watch
it
like two or
over.
three movies at the same time, do you?
No, I can't do that. I mean, maybe two shows. I did have picture in picture one time. Matter of fact, one time I was playing a video game and watching a movie at the same time.
I've
I
done
could
that
imagine it.
before.
I could imagine well, you called it one of those chameleons with the eyes going.
Oh no, wasn't nothing like that. You pay more attention to the game than you do the TV, but ever so often you just kind of look up at the TV and you go, yeah, kill, 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 kill. Just you can imagine what kind of games I play. I play,
There is.
shooter and the deadliest the better. I mean,
So I bet you don't crochet or anything.
no, don't have time for that. I don't have
Make
time.
make baskets or something.
That would probably be something that I could do that would probably calm the beast,
You know what I would recommend if I were you, and I loved doing it myself. I was a remote control hobbyist. I built airplanes that would
Mhm,
fly. I would monocoat and echnocoat the skins of the fuselages and the wings, just like a real airplane.
mhm,
I mean, not the echnocoat and monocoat, but I mean, I would make them just like the real airplanes. And then I made helicopters and very high horsepower remote control boats and monster trucks and all that kind of stuff. And it was fun. I mean, even little simple remote control rock crawlers, just having obstacles that you can climb over or whatever. It's not for everybody, but hobbies are a great way just to occupy your mind.
Oh yeah. Have you seen? Listen, have you seen what the cost of having those? Like this one guy has a Blue Angel. Uh, uh,
Hmm.
and it has the actual jet motor in it,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was real fun. It wasn't funny. I felt the hurt and the pain and the sting, but he took off and something happened. The thing went like this. It went up right down into the ground, and he
Back
just
when I
sits there and he goes $30,000 down the
Yeah,
drain.
that it's all about the size and the
I know.
detail. I mean, I remember details of everything my entire life of everything. I don't forget numbers and things of that nature. Back when I was in junior high school, I had a Cessna and it was 82.080 frequency that it was running on. And my instructor had to fly it to make sure it was flying good.
Mm,
And we were flying over at the Dickinson Field at Mountaineer RC, and you have the train track out there with the central station of the train track, and they run on 100,000 hertz frequency. And so when he was flying my plane, it hit that frequency wall, and it's just like it hit a brick wall and came straight down. Then he hands me the remote control. Now this is a master flight controller. He's handing me my RC remote control to my Futaba. There's nothing I could do but crash my plane. I had no control over it, and it was just a small airplane, and it hit so hard that it cut down a small cherry tree,
mm, yeah. I
like George Washington.
yeah.
I
That's
think he did it a little differently though.
Yeah, I think he did it. Yeah, he was a serial killer. I think.
he could have been. You don't know.
You, well, you never know. And what if we lived in that style? You had to wear wigs that look like a mop. That's probably how they came out with mops.
Kind of
What are we
like
gonna
you're
do with all
doing.
these wigs?
Kind of like you're doing right now, right?
No, I have no wig. This is the real thing. This is my Joe Dirte.
Joe Dirte.
Dierte, Joe Dierte.
You
You
do
know
know,
what?
you do know that that's outdated, right?
Joe Dierte? No, he's never outdated.
No.
Hey, that's not outdated. I see a lot of people in around here with that hairstyle now. It's
Yeah, but
coming back
that's
again.
down south, a bunch of hillbillies and
I
stuff like
mean,
that.
he's in the beach. It
Well, it
puts
doesn't
the
have.
lotion on the skin.
It must be. Never mind. I can't say that. Damn it. But anyway, I was going with somewhere with that real quick. But anyway, I hit the brakes. I had to pump the brakes on that one.
you,
Overthinker.
you know, one of these days, Chris, you're just going to get somebody there like Trump did, have him come up and pull on your hair to show it's real.
Now
I'll
that man
pull
could
it.
be
Let
in a
me do
hurricane.
it. I'll pull
Trump
on
could
that
Trump
hair.
could be in a hurricane. He could be in a hurricane, and I don't think his hair would go anywhere.
No, that's pretty well.
Could you imagine if Trump went in there a Tesla coil?
Yeah,
Uh,
he's got some interesting hair going on for sure. You know, I, I seem to remember one time when I was young and I had some friends and we were always, how kids always blow shit up, right? And we were those kids. And one time, one of my friends, we took two Pringles cans and we put it up, and we were using chloride to, instead of like lighter fluid, we were using that chloride. You put in and then you jump a bunch of water down there and it goes blows it up. Well, we decided to put black powder and everything in this can, just so far. And my friend, give me a minute. I'm gonna start cracking up. My friend Steve, he went over to because we lit it and it wasn't going off. And he goes over and he leans over the top of it. And all of a sudden that thing goes boom like this. That tennis ball hits him right in the top of the head.
Oh gosh.
And then he's like, it startled the hell, and he's up there holding his hair is smoldering. He has no eyebrows, no nothing on his hair, and his hair was like smoldering like smoke, and he's walking around going like this. We were all running around the yard like thought he was dead or something like that. Yeah.
We did when I was a kid, my neighbors moved out, left their house, whatever's left there in the garage, carport. And so I managed my way in there and I found a 25-pound keg of gunpowder, and it was rock solid in there. It wouldn't come out. So I'm throwing it, smashing it in the ground, trying to break it loose. Wonder it didn't go
Okay.
off. I ended up that my favorite hero at the time was Wile E. Coyote. And I was going to strap it with my dad's whole roll of duct tape to my skateboard and ride it. Well, I decided I'm going to be smart about this. So I wanted to do a test project because I had 2 kegs of gunpowder and I couldn't get the match to go in there and stay lit. So what I did was I took a piece of paper, sheet paper, poured gunpowder in it where I was throwing it down, breaking it up, and I twisted it into a wick, a big round wick. I stuck it in there and I lit it. And here's the corner of the house. I went on the corner of the house. I mean, just like leaning around the corner, watching it go in there as it lit. About that time, when it ignited, and I'm only 2, 3 feet from it, we had an acre backyard, and there wasn't a spot in the backyard. You probably couldn't see your hands. And it just flooded our yard with smoke. That thing went way up in the air and way out into a cornfield. I mean, way out into a cornfield. All the neighbors, they didn't bother to call the police or the fire department because they knew it was me. I was always shooting rockets off and doing weird shit like that.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, it burnt my fiberglass, and fiberglass doesn't burn, and it
Wait a
burnt
minute,
my
wait a
fiber.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're telling me you used a keg of gunpowder,
25-pound keg of gunpowder, yes.
25 pounds. You know that you could have completely eliminated your parent. 25 pounds. Are you sure it felt like 25 pounds? Because I'm going to tell you, 25 pounds would take a car and launch it into the air.
It was a big steel can of gunpowder, red.
Oh my God.
My neighbor always did a lot of he reloaded for the police departments and a lot of the police departments over there because we lived right by a 300-yard gravel pit, and we always went out the gravel pit and sighted in the scopes and things of that nature on the rifles, and he made a lot of money off of
Wait a minute.
reloads.
So you're saying, okay, so the guy next door, he was doing reloads.
Mhm.
Okay, then that wasn't black powder. What that was is smokeless. That I'll believe. That I can believe because it doesn't have the reaction time as black powder. Black powder, you would have relocated your parents' house.
Let's
This
see.
was gunpowder. That's all I know.
Let's
What
see.
is it,
Here's my real problem with that. The fact that what did you do so much that the neighbors weren't even going to bother to call the fire department? How
I
often do
was
you blow stuff up?
Zane, if my mom was on the show right now, that's probably her calling me to my volleyball. We lived by the Lackland Air Force Base, and my uncle was an air traffic controller. And he called my mom up and is like, is he out there shooting those damn rockets off again? Because I would take the D-12-5s with a 0 on it, the D-12s and the D-12-5s, which have a 19 thrust pound, and you put 1 in a rocket. Well, I would put 5 on a rocket. I would shoot them up with the 0 delays means when it blows the parachute out, there's not a delay. With a 5-second delay, the rocket will start falling, then it blows out the parachute. So you put your rocket engines, the 3 of them, to accelerate without a delay. Then you put your other 2 on top of that, so it would ignite right away. And the rocket, me and my mom, my brother, sister were out there with binoculars watching the rocket go and go and go till you couldn't even see the black speck anymore. And then it kept on going. Never could be found again. And my mom was like, yeah, he's out there shooting those damn rockets off again. I've had to go blocks away looking for some of my rockets, and we found one of them buried about 6 to 8 inches in the ground, speared into the ground, feet away from my one of my neighbors down the road, sliding glass door. It's a wonder it didn't impale somebody. But yeah, I was always shooting rockets off. I was always doing weird things like that. So
Yeah, we did the same thing.
well,
Not
you almost blew up a bridge.
Yeah, we did. We did. That was one of the yeah, yeah.
Propane.
We almost located a bridge, a whole entire bridge. That wasn't propane, it was acetylene and oxygen.
Oh, the fun
Yep.
stuff.
55-gallon garbage bag of acetylene oxygen. And it went
Wow.
there's a funny part about it. I know Zane hasn't heard this one, but the funny part about it, it was like when that thing went off, everything turned to slow motion because everything, like, try to picture all the rocks and the whole entire parking lot just jumping up and staying here right for seconds and just come back down. It didn't blow this way, but when the concussion did hit us, our hair was going like this, and I was laughing so freaking hard. I was running down that trail. My brother was screaming at me, and I was laughing the whole time, but I was running a million miles an hour, it felt like. And I
You know,
tripped
people
and
going
fell
over that
into the,
bridge.
huh?
Old man and woman driving over the bridge.
No, there wasn't any cars, but if there would have been it. But here's the thing. 47 windows were broke. 16 windows were broke in the campground. And then they had to close off the bridge because the integrity of the bridge could have been compromised by the explosion. But
Wow.
I mean, it was loud. You have absolutely no idea. Not a garbage bag, a bread wrapper is about this size, like 5 M80s going off at one time, like a stick of dynamite.
Zane, if me and Robert were neighbors, we'd be like
We'd be dead.
the hoodlums of we would be like the Bowen Duke, Luke Duke on the Dukes of Hazard times 10.
Yeah, our parents.
It's a wonder y'all didn't make the FBI's wanted list with all the
We might
explosions.
have. We might
You
have.
never know. You never know. I mean, I remember one time when I rode my motorcycle through the high school. We had a 2-story, and I rode a dirt bike through there. And boy, I'll tell you, I thought there was nobody that was going to know it was me. Nobody. But I didn't have my goggles on, but they could see my eyes, and I got home and I was like, yeah, I did this. And my dad says, hey, come here. What were you doing in school today? And I said, school. And he goes, yeah, but what did you do after school? Come home? And he goes, you're a liar. Here come the state police and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I was an entrepreneur in school. I mean, even back in grade school, my neighbor had an old outhouse and he had all these dirty magazines in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go in there and I'd cut out the centerfolds and the pictures and stuff. And I'd put them in a folder and I'd take them to school and sell them to the kids in school, the boys in school.
Right.
And I was making a lot of money off that. I mean, everybody thought I was rich because I had a wad of money in my pocket at the time. So yeah, I'm selling dirty you would not believe how many kids are horn toads.
So what you're saying is your first job as a kid was porn distribution.
I was a grade school pimp.
I bet. There's probably more stories about that one. I can imagine. I mean,
What did you do? What's your story, Zane?
Well, senior prank day, we disassembled the principal's car and put it inside the
shit.
classroom.
Oh shit.
He made the mistake on senior prank day to leave with his wife, who picked him up and left his car there overnight. So me and a bunch of other classmates who knew how to disassemble a car and reassemble it, we put it in the it wasn't in the classroom, we put it in his office.
how is
So
that possible?
Wow.
our principal's office was a lot larger than it needed to be.
Okay, I got you.
It wasn't originally a school building, it was converted to a school.
Oh,
And
Rob, don't go four-wheeling with Zane in front of you. Let me tell you right now. He had his V8 truck out in front of us on the ATVs, and he was just like a little kid at Christmas opening the Christmas gifts. But the opening his Christmas gift was flooring it.
well, you probably deserved it.
I ate more dirt that day than you'd ever believe.
My truck is blue. It was brown when we got home.
There was no blue in that truck.
Yeah, I used to when when I was a little bit younger. Us old guys, we remember the olden days. I had a 1976 Chevy with step out fenders, and I had a 4-inch body lift and a 6-inch suspension lift, and that was at that time that was the highest you could go. And I put so much money into that truck. I mean, back in those days, $3,000 was like $10,000 today. I mean, seriously, yeah. And I worked my ass off for every dime of that truck. And you remember the KC daylights?
I do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had 24 KC daylights.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I had 2 batteries, and I had 2 alternators, and they were all chrome. The engine headers, I mean, I went the whole distance. Chrome grill,
Don't you miss those days?
Oh my God. I do. And the thing about it is my wife at the time, well, she was my girlfriend first and my wife.
Sure, the one that was
But
your sister before it was your
yeah,
girlfriend.
no, that's you. I mean, anyway, so I remember I had to have a milk crate for her to put it down
Into it.
on the car so she could get, down on the ground so she could get into it. And then one time she wanted to borrow my truck. And I said, you're not going to get into it. She goes, looks at me and she goes, I got that figured out. So she went and got the milk crate, got up on the milk crate, and she had a little rope tied to it. And she pull up the truck. And all right, you can use the truck. So I went away for a while. This is after we were married. And my truck was my baby. I mean, we had another car at the time. My truck was my baby. And I came back. It was about 4 or 5 weeks later. I came back and I was walking away from, because I got a ride home, and I got in their driveway. I said goodbye to my buddy, and I started walking toward the door. And I'm like, "Where's my truck? Oh, she must be gone with it, and she must be gone. There's no other way. I mean, where is she? She's gone. She's using my truck. She's burning up the gas in it. Back then, gas was cheap, but." So I get in the house and she's on the couch with her hand and arm in a cast.
Oh God.
And I'm thinking, where's my truck? And she goes, well, hello to you too. And I go, where's my truck? And she goes, you need to sit down. Not going to sit down after she said that.
What happened?
Well, she had went to a party, and her and her friend Liz went to a party, and the party was on a peninsula, and the peninsula went out and there's water all the way around it. And at the end of the peninsula, there was this where you climb up the hill, like, climb up. All the 4-wheel trucks were down on the beach and you'd climb up that hill. And anyway, so you come up over the top and you have to immediately turn to your left. Well, she didn't do that. She came up off the top and she went over the other side, and the truck flipped over, went head over heel, went down, and was laying in the lake on its side. Okay, so imagine my heart's busting on my, it's just a little bit of body work. I'm sure, I can figure it all out. I'm not going to get my picture in 4-Wheel magazine this time. Really. And then I asked her, I said, so where's the truck at? She goes, still in the lake.
Oh God.
But long story short, but I went there and not one light was gone. Nothing in that truck was gone. But it costed me $800 at that time to get that truck towed out of there. And then when I got it up, I found out the frame was all torqued and everything else. There was no getting that truck back. So,
back in that date you're talking about, one of the most beautiful cars that I personally admired, Burt Reynolds made pretty popular, with the big eagle on, or the big, was it a turkey or a chicken or
Burnt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
You're thinking, you're thinking of Smoking the Bandit.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a truck.
The Trans Am.
Yes, that was badass. I had a red Trans Am
with the bird on it.
Yep. It was it was best car I ever owned. It had candy apple red with side pipes.
I found an interesting car recently. I just bought 91 Geo Storm. You remember those? The little car that looked like the Camaro, but it was a lot smaller.
Can't say
it got tremendous gas mileage.
Yeah, it gets about 30 miles to the gallon.
He's always driving a vintage car. He was driving one a few weeks ago. The seatbelt. Remember the automatic seatbelt that comes up over top of you?
Oh yeah, I remember those.
What was that?
It was an old Saturn. Saturn twin cam.
Be my luck, the seatbelt would wrap around my neck a few times.
Yeah, I cut that sucker out. I had a Mercury Sable that had that. That damn thing pissed me off every time. I get in there and it goes. But you would have to do your belt. You had a belt that you would have to, go across your lap.
They could just make it go over somebody's mouth.
But
Yeah.
my favorite thing was you can always get away with see like that when I was driving that he was talking about. It didn't ding whenever you didn't do the lap belt. It just had a little light on the dash. And
Oh,
that was it. So like I can drive around without the lap belt and just have the shoulder strap and hey, cops pass me out. He's wearing a seatbelt. No
hey,
big deal.
that's pretty. That's true. That's true.
Why do they call those lights on the dash idiot lights? Because mine the other day came up and it was saying dumbass.
Well, it's for you. They
Oh,
built that for you, idiot and dumbass. So,
okay.
hey, what did you think about that video I sent you about the hydrogen car? Seeing where
that was amazing, and the leftover byproduct from it is just water.
Yep.
I sent one to Chris the other day. It was called Brown Technology. I think it ran on collected your methane as you ate burritos.
Oh, good Lord, yes. You would get tremendous mileage, Zane. Zane has a fart fetish. I don't know why he's always sending me these videos of farts.
Is he the kind of guy who will fart and hold it in his hand and go,
I
No,
don't know about
no,
that.
that's his son probably.
oh,
Now here it is. I'm the one. If you go to YouTube and look at my video, he farted on my marshmallow. That was a real fart. We're on an 18-mile class 10 hike at Virgin Falls, Sparta, Tennessee.
right.
And my buddy was hiking. He was like, "Hey, Chris, you know farts are flammable." And I'm arguing with him the whole time because I know they are, but I'm just bored. I'm like, "No, they're not. That's an old wives' tale." "No, no, no, they're flammable." "No, they're not. It's an old wives' tale." We're arguing mile after mile after mile. And I told my ex-wife, if he tries to fart on me, let me know. And I'm roasting marshmallows, and he bent over trying to fart on me. And I stuck that marshmallow right up to his ass when he farted, and it's like, it burnt the hair on my head. It blistered his ass. He had to finish half that hike out of Virgin Falls with a blistered ass.
That's something. Ain't that something? Ain't that
I
something?
don't, why did we do this stuff?
Why do we do this? Because
Yeah.
it's fun. But if you do that today, people are going to get butthurt about anything.
We could be butthurt on that.
Well, he did. And it just kills me because back when we were young, we had fun. We made our own fun. We didn't
Yeah.
have the video games like these young guys have. We didn't have that.
We had
See,
bicycles.
we had bicycles, and
Yep.
we had not only bicycles, we had
Sticks for guns.
no, we weren't that primitive. We had real guns.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to go to school with gun racks in our cars, our
Yeah,
trucks,
yeah.
real
And
gun racks.
you could go into school, show and tell, and show them your gun you got for Christmas, and nobody would say a damn word. Oh wow, look at that gun! It's all brand new. Hell yeah, it's brand new and it's mine. So yeah,
And now everybody's offended by it.
yeah.
Everybody, they get offended by anything. No matter what
All
you
right.
do, people get offended by it.
Let's be careful now. Let's not be talking about that stuff right now.
Well, we don't have to mention what things get offended by, but it's like no matter what you talk about, there's always somebody that gets offended. Nobody's just like, well, if you don't like it, turn the channel.
Yeah. I mean, back in our day, if someone didn't like it, we just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I had somebody the other day that said they were offended by how loud that little Geo is. So what's my natural response? Hold the clutch and press the gas and just make it even louder until they walked away.
Well,
Or
that's
you
just
farted on them or something. Let me tell you what this shit did to me one time. I bought $80,000, I think is what it was, of movie prop money, and we went into this bar, and we had this plan. He walks up to me at the bar, and he had it in a brown bag, and he dumps $80,000 cash right in front of me and the $10,000 wrappers, and he's like, "Boss, they won't bother you anymore." The people that work there are looking at us like crap.
probably the most money they've seen in their lifetime.
Well, they thought I was like the Don of the Mafia or something, and he was my hitman.
Oh, that was pretty good. That's real. I still like the one about the restaurant. That's the one that makes me happy.
Wasn't that the same night that there was that fight and all the cops are there? And you were mingling with the crowd, but I was DJing music for you. And as soon as I saw the cops, I hit Bad Boys on the loud
Yes,
system.
the cops were all peeking in the door like, what? And everybody was just like yelling, yeah. For the moment he had, like, he was like, it was the moment that you just would never forget.
You gotta seize the opportunity when you have it. That's it.
You did a perfect job that time. Now, first of all, let me go back with Zane. I've known Zane since
Ugh.
he was a young teenager. His mom booked shows for me. Now, he didn't know that his mom booked shows for me, but she would book charitable shows for me. Then life took its toll. I don't know where all he went to in life or whatever, but he calls me up from Iowa and is like, Kris, can you come out and do a show for this kid out here?
Funny enough,
Yeah, right there. Oh, you guys, that was pretty quick. How'd you know that? They booked me a flight and I went out and I did the show for that kid right there or whatever. But and I was telling him about his mom, and he didn't know that his mom booked the show. He was just a young teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know that his mom, she's passed away, that that she booked shows for me. And here he is in the same footsteps as his mom. So I've known Zane for a very long time. And it's just like his mom. I mean, his mom, she was a drill sergeant. So she was a tough cookie.
she's technically on the table over here. I got her ashes over here, actually.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh. You know, a friend of mine just lost her husband during the pandemic. Oh, wow, that's cocaine. You're not snorting that stuff, are you?
That's
She was,
Mama.
she was a small
That's all
woman.
that's left? That's all that's left?
The rest have been scattered between oceans of Florida, Grandfather Mountain, over her grave, her mother's and her father's.
What are you going to do when it's your turn to go?
I tell people, you know what? If you decide to bury me, flip me upside down so everybody kiss my ass one last time, or just flush me down a toilet. I really don't care.
What about you,
Yeah,
Robert?
put me in the oven, cook me, and flush me down the toilet. At that point, I don't care.
I've got a big plan, and I've had this plan for a while. When I die, I first wanted to be taken to a taxidermist and
Oh
have a
God.
remote control fart machine put in me somewhere and have flexible arms. But then I thought, you know what? I'm dead. So what difference does it make? My spirit is gone. So I want to be incinerated and I want to have my ashes put in the bathroom in lines like drugs. And then I want to have some of my ashes put in the food and some in the punch. And I want somebody to read my eulogy, talk just a long, long, boring ass eulogy and talk about it. He will always be with you. In fact, if you ate the punch, did the drugs, or had the food, he put his ashes in there. We put his ashes in there.
Oh shit, that would be. I would just go. Already ate it. Can't get it
Yeah.
back. Just
It was a little dry sense of humor there.
yeah.
Well, that would put a whole new meaning to going inside somebody.
Yes, it would.
Oh God.
Zane would be farting out a Kris flavor. One
All
last
the-
smell.
No, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Would it turn into like one of your hit songs, maybe?
Oh,
Yeah,
that was an insult.
He'd be thinking more like Skinner, that smell.
One of his hit songs that you fart and you just hear the tune of his song instead of the fart.
Could be.
I
Oh,
remember when a chick offered them like $1 million to shave their beard and they turned it down.
oh
What?
yeah, they had millions. Why would they have done that?
Ask me if I'd do it for $1 million.
Well, it'd be easy for you. You don't have anything to shave off your face there anymore.
I got all that hair right there.
I got a little bit more on you than that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Kris, we'll give you $5 to shave that off.
No, I'd give you a quarter.
And a 6-pack of beer.
So getting back to that Lexington Land Band, you idiots, let's talk about this. All right. So when I first came across that song, well, actually, when I first came across the band, I was the first, actually, one of the first songs I heard was that song. And I was just sit there and I just sat there with this dumb look on my face, like, did I just hear this right? And especially, if you watch each individual musician in this band, they're older guys. I mean, they're not, there's some younger guys in there, but there's mostly these guys are a little bit younger than Kris and I, but I mean, seriously, it was just blew my mind away. And then I watched a documentary about them, how, like I was telling Kris, how they piece these different musicians, how they come in, they have guests, they have these people have been there the longest time. It's just like Stairway to Heaven. When they did Stairway to Heaven, they had a female singing it, and we'll be highlighting on our show here. But to hear a female sing Stairway to Heaven was what really I really didn't think I would like it, but it blew me away. So
When I first bought Stairway to Heaven on a sheet music, it was like 11 or 12 pages long.
mhm.
And my sister's husband at the time was a drummer in a band, and he had his own album and everything, and he was so hard to please. I never could please that guy. And
Mhm.
he was the hardest critic there ever was. He drilled me till I got that song exactly the way they played it. And I played exactly the way they do, exactly page by page, note for note. I mean, that song, they were exactly
I
the
kind
way
of
they
wish I
wanted it.
could go back and grab my guitar right now and do my version of
Version was different.
You know,
You did the metal version of it. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to do the intro to it. Watch this.
can't hear it.
yeah.
Oh, well, let me turn my
I was gonna say if you
microphone down here. Put the mic right in front of it. Okay. Can you hear it now?
Nope.
why don't you plug it into your mixer?
No, don't do that.
You don't hear it? Serious?
Nope.
No.
Because you got a noise canceling mic. It doesn't want to listen to your noise. It's too loud. Too loud. He lost it. Can't hear it. I'm
Yeah.
serious. It's dog shit, man. I'm serious. You can't hear it because that's a noise canceling mic.
we
My
see you
guitar is right in
we see
my
you
guitar is-
concentrating like you're on the toilet, but that's about it.
It looked
my
like you
guitar
were
is right in front of it.
strumming it right now. Can't hear it.
Nope.
I don't know why. Because when you have the microphone down, don't do
It's a
that.
noise canceling mic. It will not pick it up.
But I'm making noise.
It doesn't matter.
That mic is designed to pick up vocals
There you go.
when you're talking.
And it's a vocal mic. It's made for that.
Well, that don't make no sense. It should pick up everything. I was
Right.
watching what's his name? Stained. Aaron Lewis. He was picking his guitar up with it today.
Hmm?
Aaron Lewis was playing a song and picking his guitar and voice up with the mic.
Oh
You
wow.
know, on the Shure SM7, which was amazing about this mic was that it's not that really expensive of a microphone, but Michael Jackson recorded mostly every song he ever did on this particular microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the
Mhm.
microphone behind me is their Shure KSM9. I love that microphone. That's what I use all the time when I'm singing.
Why wouldn't you use the mic that Michael Jackson used?
That's what this is. That's what you're using. It's I just
Yeah,
like
but
that
you said
microphone.
the other mic.
I just like that microphone better. It's a great microphone. It's a Shure.
Yeah, but Michael Jackson didn't use that one.
Well, Michael Jackson made a lot of noises that in order for me to make the same noises, I'd have to drop something on my balls.
You
Oh,
know, I think we could arrange that if you want us to.
No, we don't.
I tell you, Swift, that would be a show right there.
or like the old days when they treated the clap with 2 bricks.
Mm. Mine would be higher than that.
Yeah, it would. Did you see that? Did you ever see that video where the guys are in the recording studio and it looked like the Bee Gees and they're like, singing like really deep and the guy goes in there and kicks them in the
Yeah.
balls.
That was funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
I think I sent that to Chris before a couple times.
My favorite one is where you have the Bee Gees doing the parody, where they have like they make their words and put it across the bottom of it. I love watching parodies like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, well, anyway, people, we're going to get out of here. Again, we blew through almost an hour right now. So,
Serious?
mhm.
Really? Wow.
Wow. Zane, when we were doing some of our radio shows, we'd be on the radio 3, 4, maybe 5 hours,
5
no
hours
time.
every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when you first think about it, it's like, God, what are we going to think to talk about?
We never
But
had a problem.
no,
Never.
we would make a list of 10 topics each. And there would be many times that we couldn't even get through part of that. I mean, a fraction of that.
Well, before we go, I do back to the joke Chris told you a little bit ago, the one I told him. There's actually an interesting news article of the day for that.
You talking
Uh,
about this? You talking about
a
the long black?
submarine, yeah, a submarine actually almost sank recently because somebody left the hatch open.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
a $3 billion Indian
Yep,
India
submarine.
submarine, nuclear power submarine. The hatch.
it's India. These people worship cows.
It just imagine being in a submarine and be like, wait, why is the water here while we're submerging? Who left
Listen,
the hatch open?
You do
who left
realize
the
it,
hatch open? Woo. No,
oh my God.
you can't make fun of cows because listen, Oreos without milk. Mm. Anyways,
Yeah, but
Or
you can't
medium
milk cows there.
or perfect medium rare steak.
Yeah, you would definitely get your head cut off doing that.
yeah, we don't want to offend somebody with their cow. And,
Not at all. All
but
right,
then
everybody.
again, then again, we did a monster theater one time, and we had a special guest on there that was a Bigfoot advocate. And Robert was sitting there talking about if I had you could hear him grumbling and growling. I'd shoot his head off.
Pull that fucker's
Yeah.
head right
Oh,
off.
that guy was like he was Mr. Rogers at first until you said that.
Oh my God.
Did
He
you
didn't.
I go, no, what I said was, as I said, wait a minute. I said, okay, so you're telling me if you've seen a Bigfoot and you could prove you could get $1 million or more for a Bigfoot, you would just sat there and look at it and not take any pictures, not do anything. I said, I'd tell you what I would do is I'd blow that fucker in the chest and drag his ass up because I'd be the richest man in the world. And that guy went nuclear, like, I'll
Yeah.
shoot you, I'd shoot your ass, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, he was so calm and so polite and proper and just sounded like Mr. Rogers until Robert said that. And then
I
he
wish
just
we had
turned,
that.
he
Yeah.
did a 180. We've had some interesting guests. Like we had one guest saying that he had the most heartfelt. I'm trying to get away from the microphone to wipe the tears off. I mean, he was so heart compelling. I did all these shows for children and I built a ship out of popsicle sticks and
Oh my God. That was like one of our first shows, like our first year shows.
well, he even
Wow.
sent us a picture of the Viking ship made out of popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
And he'd go around and collect all these popsicle sticks that he gave all the homeless little children in the orphanage, and just all these stories. Like, oh wow! I
Yeah,
mean,
you
we had
really you fall for it, but then all of a sudden he wanted to come across the ocean in this Viking ship that he built out of popsicle sticks.
Wow.
And I know coming across the Atlantic was not going to be like coming across there and he would have been sunk no matter.
well, I don't. Rochelle might have been out there in the Philippines. Like, what's that ship over there? Like USS Minnow.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
he's old
no,
enough for the USS Minnow.
get it right. It's the USS Popsicle.
Yeah, the USS Popsicle.
So yeah, that was another one of those shows that were pretty interesting. I remember that.
We've had a lot of it. What was your most interesting show that we did, in your opinion?
That's a hard one because we had a lot of them.
You remember when we had the what do you call that? The solar flare.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It made like and then we're cut off air. Everything, everybody, all electronics on Earth that I know of, or at least in the path of the solar flare, were out.
Mine went down, yours went down. It's just like the whole show went.
We were just talking about Hillary Clinton, I think, and
I know.
it
Yeah,
was like, oh my God, she got us.
yeah. That witch has the powers to do it. So, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna get out of here, and I want to thank Zane for showing up tonight and being a guest on our show. And Kris, of course, I just think you are a wonderful guy, and I really do appreciate for everything that you do. And so, any last parting words?
by the way, guys, if you ever need to get a hold of booking my shows, Zane down here is my booking agent. He does a lot of booking for me. He's did a lot of things. Thank you, Zane, for what you've done.
Yeah, I thank you too.
I keep a card right here on my desk.
There you go. Oh, he throws it on the floor.
Yeah, that's where it belongs. On
In
the
fact,
floor.
in fact, he took that picture of me playing the guitar, and Rochelle did the lights in the background,
Oh wow, that's nice. That's nice.
and he did the front of
So,
the card.
well, he's holding it. Yeah, I see it. So anyway, we'll catch you guys later on the flip side. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. We'll be back next week, maybe. We'll be back next week. I'll definitely be back sometime this week. I got a couple things to get off my chest we'll be talking about. So if that's it, man, we're just gonna rock on, get out of here. We will be doing a lot more shows coming up. We are in the process of trying to get someone over here from the Philippines, and once we do that, I think everything will fall into place.
Since you said that, I got to bring up something. Both these two guys right here have done so many countless hours on helping to bring my wife over here from the Philippines. And I want to say something about that. Dear government, dear American government, that's my wife. 2 years, seriously? I mean, why does it take so long to do a little bit of paperwork to get a wife to America or a husband to America?
Mhm.
You know, if that's my wife and we're in love with each other, thank you both, Zane and Robert, because they have done countless hours on helping me to get the paperwork, help getting things organized, and just being supportive for both of us, Rochelle and myself, because it's very discouraging when you think you finally got everything done and all your paperwork's done, and she's going to be on the first popsicle stick boat floating over here, and then all of a sudden they need a liver or a lung or something, it's like, man. And so you guys have been a lot of support for me throughout this and you've been a lot of support for Rochelle as well. So thank both of you. And
You're
American government, it's not the Philippine government, it's American government. You should be ashamed of yourself. When people can cross the border by the millions and get checks and whatever all, and I'm doing it the legal way and I can't get her here, shame on you.
And in case anybody's wondering, the painting back there behind him is not of him and his sister. That's actually his wife.
Both of them. Yeah. Mike's
Yep.
and
You're painting one to sing too, I guess.
Zane painted those with his toes with
Oh,
crayons.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
That's total bullshit. Anyway,
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
that's pretty talented if you could do that. He wouldn't be talking to us if you could do that, that's for sure. But anyway, all right, guys. So I want to thank everybody again. I'll thank Zane for coming on the show tonight, and Kris, thanks a lot. And yeah, let's get the hell out of here. We'll see you
Let's do
later.
it.
All right.
Good night, everyone. Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.